Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Your Excellencies, may you sit down? Your Excellency, Kashim Shettima, GCON, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency, the Chief Host, the Katsina State Governor and Chairman, Northwest Governors Forum, Madam Diko Omar Rada, PSD, Your Excellency, the Governor of Kano State, Jigawa State, Your Excellency, the Governor of Zamfara State, Your Excellency, the Governor of Niger State, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Sokoto State, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, Your Excellency, the representative of the Kano State Governor, Your Excellencies, the ministers, Your Excellency, the head of security agencies that are here with us this morning, Your Excellency, the former governors of Katsina State, Your Excellency, the former governor of Zamfara State, Your Excellencies, the representative of the United Nations Development Program and the UN, Your Excellency, members of the diplomats, Your Royal Highness, His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, and Chairman of Council of Chiefs, the Emirs of Katsina, Zazzau, Kazori, and Daura, Chairman and Chief Executive Officers of both federal and state parastatals, the officials of the United Nations, supporters of this summit, Chairman and members of the Joint Planning Committee, led by the Secretary to the Government of the State, His Excellency Abdullahi Garo Faskari, Esquire, distinguished panelists, moderators, participants, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, security agents, good morning and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Excellency, we are here today in Katsina for the inaugural Northwest Peace and Security Summit, which is organized by the Northwest Governors Forum in collaboration with the United Nations Development Development Program, UNDP, and the German government. Your Excellency, the theme for today's event, as you are aware, is cooperation, regional cooperation for security of lives and livelihoods. The topic that has been themed based on the security challenges that have been bedeviling this part of the country. Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, Your Excellencies, the host governors, permit me to invite the Grand Kadi Katsina State to lead us in the opening prayer before I invite the moderator that will take over to preside the program that is scheduled for this ceremony. He's not here, sir. May I invite, a son of the soil, the Honorable Minister, Housing and Urban Planning, Acted Amir Musa Dangiwa, to please give us the opening prayer from where you are. Or you come on the stage, so please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم مفاتيح دسلاة النبي بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت ورحمت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع الدعاء وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم يا حي يا قيوم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. Oh Allah, we have gathered here to seek for your help, your assistance, to guide us throughout these our deliberations. Help us overcome the problem that we are having. May Allah guide us throughout these deliberations, and may Allah assist us in overcoming these challenges that we are having in this country and in this region of our country. Amen. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع الدعاء وتب علينا إنك أنت السميع الدعاء يا حي يا قيوم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام ربنا تقبل منا آمين سبحانك.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and thank you again for coming to the first Peace and Security Summit of the Northwest region, which has been put together by the Katsina State Government and other Northwestern governments in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, the UNDP. Now, this high-level summit will be officiated by His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Kashim Shettima, who is ably representing the President, Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Please give him a round of applause for being here. Thank you so much. Now, this summit is, of course, premised on the fact that while challenges such as banditry, terrorism, and communal strife linger and are compounded by profound levels of multidimensional poverty in the region, youth unemployment, climate change, and environmental degradation, the region is endowed with robust natural resources, vast tracts of productive land, enterprising culture among young people, which, if used properly, have the ability to transform the fortunes of the Northwest and the country as a whole. So the conversations are really geared around trying to see how we can make this happen. With us here today, I must acknowledge a few important people, and we're really pleased they're here because I think it's an indication of how serious the situation is. First off, of course, the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Thank you so much, sir. Our host again, I'd like to thank him, the Governor of Katsina State, His Excellency Dikko Rada, the UN Resident Coordinator, Mohammed Malik Fan, who is sort of helping to put this together, the UNDP Resident Rep, Ms. Elsie Atafwa. Thank you, ma'am, for making this happen. The governors of the Northwestern states, starting with the governor of my state, Dr. Dauda Lawal, His Excellency Umar Namadi of Jigawa State, His Excellency Nasir Idris of Kebbi State, His Excellency Abba Kabir Yusuf, who couldn't make it, but he's ably represented here, His Excellency Ahmed Ali of Sokoto State, and His Excellency Ubasani of Kaduna State, ably represented by Her Excellency Hadiza Balarabe, the Deputy Governor. Also with us, two former governors of Katsina State, Their Excellencies Aminu Bello Masari and Shehu Shema. We also have members of the diplomatic corps. I want to run through them very quickly. The Ambassador of Norway, Sven Baera. Thank you, sir, for coming. The EU Delegation Ambassador, Zizimos Vagos. Thank you for coming. Egyptian Ambassador, Mohamed Fouad. Thank you for coming. The Charge d'Affaires of Germany and France, Johan Latin and Jean-Francois Haspero. I hope I didn't massacre the name. Jifa Ahado of the Canadian High Commission, and the UK High Commission representative Cynthia Rose. We also, of course, have heads of security here with us, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General T.A. Lagbaja, Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal H.B. Abubakar, Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, the Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetoku, and our traditional rulers, who I want to specially thank for coming, His Eminence Dr. Mohammed Saad, the Emir of Zazzau, Dr. Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, the Emir of Katsina, Dr. Abdul Mumin Kabir Usman, the Emir of Kazaure, His Royal Highness Najib Hussein Adamu, and the Emir of Daura, His Royal Highness Dr. Umar Farouk Omar. Please, a round of applause for our special guest. We are already running late, so I'm going to stand and say all other protocols observed, because we unfortunately cannot mention every single person here. There are a few ministers. I see my sister from Katsina, Hanatu Musawa, thank you for coming, and a few others. So welcome to the honorable ministers as well. Without wasting too much time, I think we should just dive straight into the program. I want to start by inviting the ambassador of Germany to come and give his opening remarks.
Your Excellency, the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, Your Excellencies, Governors of the Northwest Governors Forum, Your Excellencies, local representatives, members of the military, the police, my colleagues from the diplomatic corps, I stand on existing protocol, and I hope I make it short in order to advance with the program. I'm standing here as the representative of the German government in order to give our support for this Peace and Security Summit in the Northwest region, because, as an African proverb has it, peace is costly, but it's worth the expense. This reason is why we are assembled here today to work towards peace. We are all aware of the numerous challenges that plague the Northwest and the wider region, but we need to overcome these challenges if we want to go forward to offer a future for this region and its inhabitants. So the question is, how do we achieve this? And the summit here is the beginning, hopefully, for a solution to bring this forward. The first I want to mention is that we come here to dialogue, to come together and exchange views on the drivers of conflict and suggestions how to achieve peace. Finding these suggestions or these solutions means that we can ensure peace in the future, and all the federal government, the state governments, and the international partners involved are doing this today. Nonetheless, this summit is only the culmination of efforts which have been done in the past, and it's also already the beginning for a new cooperation in order to bring peace to the region. Secondly, we need to rediscover the traditional ways to resolve conflicts. In many places, these traditional ways are affected by the conflict today. Traditional conflict resolution mechanisms that have existed for decades are now in peril, but we need to revive this in order to bring peace forwards. These mechanisms are best adapted to local circumstances and the culture, and when we give it the necessary resources, are best suited to resolve the conflicts in the communities before they escalate. UNDP, together with the Northwest Prevention Facility that has supported this summit and that we are proud of fund together with our Norwegian friends, the Norwegian ambassador is here, is building exactly on this, reviving community-based conflict resolution mechanisms and providing the infrastructure to build trust and confidence. Thirdly, another solution for achieving peace is providing state services. This can be anything from security measures such as police or army posts and improvement, border security, going up to housing, schools and clinics, to livelihood measures that support for micro and small businesses and for markets and vocational training. Such state services are the basis for stability and therefore for stable lives and livelihood. When they are not available, people look for other means of income. Lack of basic state services is therefore an essential driver of conflict. Reversely, providing state services is an essential contributor to peace. As we have just heard, providing basic state services is a crucial part of the strategy of the governors of the affected states. I congratulate them all for taking this responsibility, and subsequently, this is also a crucial part for the UNDP Northwest Prevention Facility that I have mentioned, and that supports the states of the Northwest Governors Forum. As a final remark, to which I attach great importance, I would like to mention that all measures that strive for peace, it is absolutely imperative to let women participate in this, to give them a voice and to give them the necessary space they need. If half of the population is left out when drawing upon peace plans, these plans are built on very shaky foundations. Experience has shown over time and again that peace agreements that involve women in their design and that factor in women's needs are more stable and more long-lasting. If peace is truly be obtained, women must be included. Allow me once again to congratulate the federal and state governments involved in this summit and their strive for peace. Allow me also to congratulate UNDP for their hard work that went into this summit and for the peace-building work that is already done outside of this summit. I am proud to represent the German government here that has supported these efforts. Germany attaches great importance to the stability and peace of Nigeria and the region and will therefore continue to support these efforts. As I said in the beginning, peace is costly, but we will share every penny and every necessary expense in order to make that happen. And I thank you for your attention and wish you all a successful summit.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Sven Baera, and for those ideas around how to localize security by waiting on or finding local ways of conflict resolution. I forgot to acknowledge the presence of Nigeria's Minister of Defense, His Excellency Badaru Abubakar. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Also, the Director General of the NIA, Ambassador Ahmed Rufai. Thank you, sirs, for joining us. Allow me to please call on the UNDP resident representative for his remarks, for her remarks. Sorry.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, and may I also render you condolences for the loss of your family. Your Excellency, the immediate past President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, Your Excellencies, the Executive Governors of Northwestern States, and in a special way, let me recognize His Excellency, Diko Umar Rada, who is the Chair of the Northwestern Governors Forum, all senior government officials here, excellencies, traditional leaders, our own United Nations resident coordinator, let me simply stand on existing protocols in the interest of time. We are here today because Northwest region of Nigeria deserves a brighter future. This summit is a vital step towards promoting development and deepening the foundations of peace in a region that has seen more than its fair share of challenges. I will not bore you with statistics. You know them all too well. Instead, I wish to focus on how we can unlock and capitalize on the region's untapped potential through the intertwined context of peace, security, and development. Peace, security, and development are like the three musketeers, inseparable and equally important. Without peace, development stagnates. Without development, peace remains a distant dream. And without security, neither can thrive. Addressing one without the other is like trying to fix a leaking roof during a rainstorm. Bringing development into the picture matters a great deal because it challenges us to pay attention to the root causes of insecurity. Nigeria's progress on the Sustainable Development Goals stands at a modest 13%, with Northwest region significantly lagging behind. This region, home to nearly 30% of Nigeria's population, is crucial for the nation to achieve its full potential. If Nigeria is to fulfill its promise as a giant of Africa, we must pay attention to Northwest. Let it not appear like lifting a heavy load. If one arm is weak, the entire body struggles. Your Excellencies, The Northwest region holds immense potential for transformation as we navigate the challenges of fragility. The region, her people, and leaders embody the resilience, hope, and potential that needs to be connected to opportunity. Minerals alone offer a promising avenue, with close to 40 mineral deposits, including gold, copper, gypsum, granite, name them. Effective management and governance of these resources with appropriate benefit-sharing mechanism will not only enrich the region's coffers, but also pave the way for prosperity. Agriculture, too, can propel the region in new heights. The fertile lands and a favorable climate makes this region ripe for modern farming techniques and expanded markets, including the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, promising not just food security, but robust economic growth and job creation. Let me draw your attention to energy, a big elephant in the room. We all know this region is practically living in the dark, giving limited access to the national grid. Without energy, we will be chasing a mirage in our bid to find lasting peace and development. But here is the twist. The region is sitting on a gold mine of renewable energy potential. Picture this. Just picture this. A future where all the 48,000 schools and 142 learning training centers are running on solar. The 7,500 public health centers are wind or solar powered, and our businesses are lit by sheer force of nature. Investing in renewable energy is not just a smart move, it's like finding money in your old jacket. Let us brighten up this beautiful region and watch as innovation and entrepreneurship light up the future. There's always a concern that investors shy away from fragile environments, but the tide is beginning to turn. Global investment models are starting to evolve, with some forward-looking approach and some impact investors working to support in the creation of lasting peace and stability. This region must be positioned as an attractive destination for new breed of investors, while also strengthening security and business environment to attract the pool of conventional investments. After all, who wouldn't want to invest in a region bustling with potential and determination? Your Excellencies, central to the transformation vision is the empowerment of youth as agents of social and economic transformation. Imagine young people at the heartbeat of this region's future, not just as idle bystanders, but active participants shaping our collective destiny. Investing in their education, skills, and entrepreneurial spirit is not just a noble gesture, it is a strategic imperative. Let us think about unlocking their potential by providing all well-equipped spaces, catalytic resources that will enable them to experiment, innovate, and build ventures with the potential to create jobs and promote inclusive development. By channeling their energy into constructive pursuits, we are not only securing their personal growth and future-proofing their agency, but also fortifying the foundation of our region and country's stability and prosperity. But remember my earlier point, you will not achieve this without concurrently addressing energy, education, and others. Regional cooperation stands as a cornerstone of the development strategy. I commend you, Excellencies, Northwest governors, for this great commitment and collaborative efforts. I'm not saying that it will be easy for you as you go forward. We must all agree that it is very essential to work together. As an African proverb goes, the hand that makes mistakes belongs to those who work. Let us leverage the strength of each state, be it in security, governance, and social and economic sectors. We must be willing to try, fail, and try again. As I conclude, I want to extend my deepest appreciation to the governors for partnering with us, United Nations family, for this very inaugural one, Peace and Security Summit. Special thanks to the governments of Germany and Norway for the financial support that has been said already, but also to our own Secretary General for the Peace Building Fund that our resident coordinator is also supporting us with in the Northwest region. Again, sincere appreciation to all our core donors who are here with us. I would like to also in a special way recognize the leadership of our Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, a daughter of the soul, for her continued leadership and guidance to us in this endeavor, as well as our United Nations Development Program Regional Director for Africa, Ahuna Eziakonwa, also a daughter of the soul, for her support. I take this opportunity to thank our very own United Nations Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator, Mr. Fall, for ensuring a whole of United Nations system approach in harnessing the untapping the potential for this region. Let us remember our journey towards peace, security, and development in the Northwest is a team effort. Your Excellencies, you have the potential on your side, and together you can transform challenges into opportunities. Let us keep in mind that we might not be perfect, but we are collectively capable of making a brighter future. As I say, we must do this with fire in our belly, because Niger no dey carry last. Thank you.
I am sure you will agree she has fire in her belly, that passionate rallying cry that is also optimistic, that has listed out all the things we have going for us in the Northwest and why really our people shouldn't be wallowing in conflict and poverty. Thank you so much, Elsie Atafua. Allow me to please quickly acknowledge the President of the Deputy Governor of Katsina State, His Excellency Farouk Lawal, and also the Commandant General of the National Security and Civil Defense Corps. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'd like to now call on the UN Resident Coordinator for his remarks. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes on stage.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency, the immediate past President of Nigeria, Your Excellency, the Governor of the Northwest of Nigeria, Your Excellency, the Governor of Niger State, the past governor from the northwest of Nigeria, the member of the federal government here present, the head of the security agencies, our traditional rulers and leaders, Your Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, all the members of the diplomatic corps represented here, my fellow UN colleague, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is a single honor for me to be here in Katsina at this inaugural Peace and Security Summit for Northwest of Nigeria. Allow me to begin by expressing my gratitude to the Governor of Katsina, His Excellency Diko Rada, for hosting this summit, and for the visionary leadership that all the Northwest Governor Forum have shown in regard to this topic of peace and security. I would like to express gratitude to all of you, and to also for engaging not only here at country level, but also to engage with the United Nations at the highest level, and wanted to remind your recent engagement with our Deputy Secretary General in Washington, D.C. last April. Nigeria continued to experience a number of challenges. You can name them: security, economic, humanitarian in nature, and all of them exacerbated by conflict, exacerbated also by the climate crisis. Left unsolved and unmanaged, violent conflict will continue to undermine the enormous potential that this country has to satisfy the needs of over 200 million people, including those who live in the Northwest. Maintaining peace and security is the central work of the United Nations, and it's embodied in the UN Charter, which in its preamble states that we, the people of the United Nations, determined to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war. And this inaugural Peace Summit is an important milestone for this collective shift and for moving the needle toward achieving not only peace and security, but in a broader manner, the sustainable development goal in Nigeria. The victims of conflict within the geographical zone of Nigeria have been largely dominated by the vulnerable groups: women, children, people who have disability, and those who are elders. These violent conflict manifestations have placed strain on peaceful intergroups relation. It has also worsened state-society relations nationwide, including leading to a large scale of forced displacement, resulting in countless and internally displaced people across the country. Conflict between farmers and pastoralists, activities of organized criminal gangs, and growing involvement of terrorist elements are escalating insecurity in the region, which is resulting in humanitarian crisis, impacting food security, and putting additional strain on the social system that is needed for the most vulnerable people. All of this continue to undermine the potential that this country has. As we gather here today, we will be speaking largely about challenge. We will be speaking largely about difficulties faced. But I wanted, with your permission, Excellencies, deviate a bit from my speech and maybe remove a bit my heart as a UN resident coordinator and say, I too feel as a son of the region. Not only because I'm coming back to serve here as a resident coordinator, but also I belong to a region which is part of this world, and for which all of us look up to Nigeria. All of us think that if Nigeria makes it, we all will make it together. Not only our sub-region, but the entire continent. And if Nigeria fails to do it, we will all fail to get there. This is why, beyond my responsibility as a resident coordinator, this is a primary duty for me, to reiterate how much UN accompany you. And I just wanted to conclude with a few words by saying that as we gather here, we will spend a lot of time talking about challenge. We will spend a lot of time talking about difficulties. But as my sister Elsie just did it, let's remember also the potential that this region has. This is the biggest country of the continent. This is the first economy in the continent. This is the country that has the greatest wealth of human resources in the continent. This is a country that is part of those that have the greatest wealth in terms of natural resources in this continent. What we need to do moving forward is not to focus only on the challenges, but it is also to look at the opportunity. It is also to see how together we can harness this potential. And as I say, by doing so, we will not drive only Nigeria, but we will drive sub-Saharan Africa. We will drive Africa continent entirely. But also by doing so, we will craft and create a narrative that will give hope to the young generation of Nigeria. They have to believe that there are other options than getting into extreme violence. They have to believe that in this country, this beautiful land, have more promises for them than anywhere else that they could migrate. But that need to be inculcated, that need to be given as a prospect to those young generation. And we, UN, if we have anything to do, if we have any commodity to sell, it is hope. It is giving hope people. It is bringing back people and their feet when they suffer. It is to be able to make sure that everyone believes in having a brighter future in the soil they belong to. And I think that's the narrative we need also to craft together during these 2 days. That's the narrative that will help to energize and mobilize this young generation of Nigerians. This is this young generation of Nigeria who will be the leader of tomorrow, who will drive not only Nigeria, but as I said earlier, will drive also our continent. And in this journey, I want you to believe and I want you to trust us. UN will be with you in each and every single step during this journey under my leadership, but also with the entire team that you have seen, which have gathered here. Looking forward to fruitful deliberation and looking forward also to come out with a narrative that brings back hope for this beautiful land and for the young people of this northwest of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed Malik Fall, UN Resident Coordinator, for that timely reminder that our potential will continue to be, undefeated unless we tackle the problems facing us, and for telling us to focus on the challenges, not focus on the challenges, but focus on the opportunities and also utilize them. Without wasting too much time, please allow me to invite the Honorable Minister for Defense, Alhaji Badaru Abubakar, for his quick remarks. We are running a little bit out of time, so can I ask people to please be quick with their remarks? Thank you.
Your Excellency, our own, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Katsina Shettima, my father, the former President of Nigeria, Your Excellencies, the Governors of the Northwest, I must recognize the host, Malam Dukorata, and of course my own, the Governor of Jigawa State, Honorable Ministers, the former governors here present, Your Highness the Sultan, and Your Highnesses, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I was given very short notice, so my message is one, that the armed forces of Nigeria, and indeed the security agencies of Nigeria, are committed in ending insecurity, not only in the Northwest, but in the country. We are open for partnership. We are open for collaboration. We agree for us to succeed, there must be genuine jointness. Jointness among the services and collaboration with the governors as well as the stakeholders. We are committed to ending this thing, and we are committed, and we are open, and we are ready for all possible collaboration. In days to come, I'm sure we will sit down with the governors to look at the outcome and the recommendations of this summit. And we will visit state by state with all the security agencies to look at the security situation vis-à-vis the recommendations that will be coming out of this summit and provide workable solution towards ending insecurity in Nigeria. I know we can do it. We will finish this thing. Together, we will solve the problem of insecurity, and together, we will fight poverty, and together, we will bring Nigeria back to prosperity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to the Honorable Minister for Defense, Alhaji Badaru Abubakar. Permit me to quickly recognize the presence of the representative of the DG of the DSS, and to also then call on His Eminence, His Royal Highness, the Sultan of Sokoto, to make remarks on behalf of the Royal Fathers. Thank you, sir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على النبي الكريم. Your Excellency, the Vice President, sitting in for Mr. President, Your Excellency, the host governors of Northwest, let me recognize the chairman and the host governor, Governor of Katsina. Distinguished participants, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First, I would like to start by offering our condolences on behalf of the entire Muslim Ummah in the country to the Vice President for the loss of his mother-in-law. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant her Al-Jannah Firdaus. And also to the governor and the people of Katsina State for the killings of innocent people, once more senseless killings of innocent people yesterday. And I will pray to Almighty Allah to guide us aright in this two-day summit, to come up with proposals to not to end insurgency, because you cannot end insurgency everywhere, but to bring it to the minimum that people can go about their lives without let or hindrance. Distinguished Excellencies, I will not forget to recognize the former president who came all the way from Daura for this program. That shows his commitment and concern too, as a Northwesterner. And I think it's important for us to always pray for our leaders. Most people here and those listening, because I think this is televised, most people gathered are fairly very, very familiar with the causes as well as the consequences of the insecurity in this part of the country for the last 1 decade or so. Reports after reports, conferences after conferences, consultations after consultations, and of course recommendations after recommendations. Still, the problem persists. Why? It's time to ask the question, why are things still in the state they are today, despite the tons of money spent on procuring equipment for the services and also for the well-being of the personnel, and also what the governors have been doing to bring to an end this insecurity. We need to ask this question for us to discuss and move and know how to move forward. But without giving an answer to this question, we cannot go anywhere. We will come back to another conference again. We're still talking about the same issues, the same problems. I'd like to thank UNDP and other United Nations agencies and the German government for supporting this conference in this beautiful hall, very conducive to talk about issues of insecurity. But the real issues are talked outside the hall, where the people live, in the villages, in the towns, and in the markets, which I think we need to discuss here, so that the governors will have a way forward in what really we all must do together to bring these problems to a minimal level. I'd like to thank you and even other agencies, but I want to say, no matter how much support you give us, if we are not ready and willing to end these criminal activities, we can't succeed. We will be the ones to work for this and end these problems if we so desire. Nobody will come from somewhere to work for us. Nobody will come from the moon to solve these problems. We must solve our problems. So I'm very much pleased with this inaugural meeting of the Northwest Governors Forum to once more talk about. We have had a series of conferences in the last 10, 12 years on these issues. And the last one we had in 2022 was the most instructive, was I think the best way forward. But unfortunately, we could not implement anything as elections 2023 came on. Now, a year after the elections, we have this program, we have this program today in Katsina to discuss about what we need to do. I think it's important for us to tell ourselves the home truth, because we must tell ourselves the home truth. What we must do to challenge these bandits, because we all know the consequences of this banditry and insurgency on the morale and on our lives. Because it will take decades to get out of it, if at all we get out of it, because we all know the consequences and we know the problems. I would like to come back home as we discuss, because this is an open forum. There are so many things you cannot say because you are on TV, you are on live TV, and you are also in the internet. So maybe when we come down in closed session, we discuss some of these issues. Because the last conference, as I have said, had former ministers of defense, had former service chiefs, and they brought one very good way forward, which we met with the Northern Governors Forum. And in fact, let me just say, we have met with the Northern Governors Forum nothing less than 5 to 6 times on some of these issues. Now, this new set of governors, I believe, will be the change we need to utilize on for us to reach out to everybody and have this successful outcome of whatever we decide to do. So we'd like to assure you, on behalf of the Northern Traditional Leaders, which I happen to be the chairman, on behalf of all traditional leaders in the country, we are always ready because we know the problem of the people are on our shoulders and people come to us, and we are always ready to work with the government or with the governors at all levels to move our states, our country forward. Be rest assured, we are willing, because our presence here alone shows that yes, we are here and we are always willing, once we are called upon, or when we now call upon you, the governors, because we know your doors are always open to us. You have never stopped seeing us whenever we have issues to discuss with you. We will continue to work with you. We must continue to work with you because we know that's the only way forward to save our region, to save our country from the numerous problems that we've been facing. I have a short listing. I will find a way of getting it across to the organizers of this program. Maybe when we come to at the closing session, we can discuss some of these issues as we listen to other comments from people so that we now move our region, the biggest region, the most populated region, the region where all the votes count to make somebody a president. So we know what Northwest is, and we know what Northwest is not. We know we are humble people. We know we reach out to everybody. We know we fear God Almighty. And God, in His infinite mercy, will bring to an end all the security challenges facing us, in particular in this region and in the country. I'd like to thank the VP for taking time, despite the loss, to be here. That shows his commitment for him to just come here and be with us, also to pray for you. And we assure you, you are part and parcel of us. We wish you all the very best. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless all our leaders. May He give them the strength to move our country forward. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much. Please, another round of applause for His Eminence and for that willingness to engage with political leaders so that we can find a final solution to the problems bedeviling the Northwest. Now I have to apologize. We're going to have to make a few adjustments to the program. As you heard, the VP has been bereaved. His mother-in-law has died. And what that means is that he has to leave here very soon. Unfortunately, he can't stay with us till the end of the program. We've had to make an adjustment to the program accordingly. So what will happen is that we will call on our host, the governor of Katsina State, to deliver his remarks. After that, the VP will speak and then head to the airport. After the VP has departed, we will then call on the other governors who are here present to deliver their remarks. We do apologize for having to change that program, but I'm sure you will agree with me that the fact that he's here sitting shows a commitment. This is a man who is in mourning, but he's sitting with us trying to contribute his quota to this conversation. So without wasting any more time, it's my pleasure to call on the host of this conference, the governor of Katsina State, His Excellency Dikko Rada. Thank you. And also I'm told chairman of the Northwest Forum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, ably represented by our senior brother, His Excellency the Vice President Kashim Shettima, and I would like to specifically thank you for having time to be with us despite the loss. And I'm seizing this opportunity on behalf of myself and all the Northwest governors to condole you over the loss of your mother-in-law. We hope Allah will give her Al-Jannah Firdausi. Your Excellency, our father, Your Excellency, the former President Muhammadu Buhari, the governors of Zamfara and Jigawa State, and the deputy governors of Sokoto, Kebbi, Kaduna, and Katsina State, as well as the representative of the governor of Kano State, members of the National Assembly that are here, honorable ministers, our former governors of Katsina State, the UN Resident Coordinator, and Your Excellencies, the ambassadors and members of the Diplomatic Corps, head of the security agencies of this country, Your Royal Highnesses, led by the eminent Sultan of Sokoto, head of the UN agencies, other distinguished personalities too numerous to mention, members of the press, the Secretariat, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I stand before you today with profound sense of duty and commitment as we gather to address some of the most pressing challenges facing our beloved Northwest region. Our shared history, culture, and aspirations bind us together. And it is this unity that we must harness to confront the issues of insecurity. The Northwest Governors Forum began shortly after we were elected in office. As governors-elect, we met and agreed to tackle our shared issues together. Insecurity was an obvious concern to all, and we agreed to work closely to tackle the issue. We also looked to developing agriculture and power supply in the region with the aim of promoting socio-economic development. We visited the President of African Development Bank as a group to seek support. We also recently met with the leadership of the United Nations to pursue a regional approach to development. Our effort to tackle security took us to Washington to attend a symposium put together by the United States Institute of Peace, where we informed them of our ongoing plan to hold the very summit at home. The Northwest governors are now a brotherhood with the goal of providing peace, security, prosperity for our people. We have transcended to the political divide and remain focused on a collective effort towards development while individually performing the mandate bestowed upon us by the people of our various states. The fight against insecurity is primarily a federal responsibility, and I would like to thank President Ahmed Bola Tinubu for his leadership. I recall speaking with him after an attack a few months ago, and his prompt response to the matter. He has continued to engage with me on this matter and is equally committed to securing lives and livelihood in the region and the entire country. I want to thank the leadership of the Nigerian Army, the Air Force, and other security agencies for their relentless fight against insecurity in Katsina and the entire Northwest. I would also like to thank the leadership of the Nigerian police and all other security agencies working together to keep our people safe. I will take this opportunity to offer my deepest condolence to our fallen heroes. I also want to recognize the National Assembly effort to establish the Northwest Development Commission with aim to promote inclusive growth in the region. This laudable effort will provide the much-needed resources for fighting insecurity through non-kinetic measures, and all the Northwest governors are behind you. Banditry has cast a shadow over our communities. It has disrupted lives, stifled economic activities, and instilled fear among our people. We cannot allow this menace to define our region. As leaders, we must adopt a multiple-set approach that includes robust intelligence gathering, community policing, and deploying advanced security technologies. Furthermore, we must enhance the capacity of our national security forces through continuous improvement and adequate resources. To effectively combat banditry, we need to strengthen our intelligence network. This means improving our surveillance system, investing in modern technology such as drones and satellite imagery, and enhancing coordination among various security agencies. We must also establish most efficient communication channels to ensure timely response to threats. However, addressing banditry is not solely the responsibility of our security agencies. We must engage with local communities, traditional rulers, religious leaders, to foster a culture of cooperation and trust. Community engagement is crucial in gathering actionable intelligence and building resilience against criminal activities. Most states in the region have already established community security initiatives where local outfits work hand in hand with the formal security forces to protect their communities. In Katsina, we launched Katsina Community Watch Corps. Zamfara and Sokoto State have equally launched successful programs, while Kaduna State already has an existing program. Most states in the region have now established full-fledged ministries of internal security and have made security a focal part of the administrative duties of the state at the state level. In addition, we must address the root causes of banditry, which often stem from economic deprivation, lack of opportunities and vocational training, job opportunities, and support for small and medium-sized enterprises can help divert vulnerable individuals from criminal activities. Our region has the potential to be the national breadbasket, yet we face significant challenges in achieving food security. Banditry disruption has severely impacted agricultural activities, reduced productivity, and increased food prices. To combat this, we must invest in modern agricultural practices, support smallholders farmers, improve access to agricultural input and credit facilities. We need to prioritize the development of rural infrastructure, such as roads, irrigation systems, storage facilities, improving rural roads, and will facilitate the transportation of agricultural produce to the market. Reducing post-harvest losses and increasing farmers' income, enhancing agricultural system, irrigation system will enable year-round farming, mitigating the impact of erratic rainfall pattern and ensuring consistent food production. We must also encourage youth participation in agriculture through targeted empowerment program and introduction of innovative farming technologies. Modern farming technologies such as precision agriculture can significantly boost production, and we must also promote adopting climate-smart agricultural practices to mitigate the effect of climate change in our farming activities. Moreover, we must support our farmers by providing them access to affordable credit, agricultural investment schemes. These measures will help them to invest in quality seeds, fertilizer, and equipment. Increasing their yield and income and tackling agriculture can lead to the increased security in the region and the country. Education and healthcare are critical pillars in this regard. We must invest in our educational institutions, ensuring every child has access to quality education that equip them with the skills and needed for their future. And our educational system should be reformed to include vocational training and technical education, preparing our youth to diverse employment opportunity. Scholarship and financial aid should be provided to the deserving students to ensure no child is left behind due to financial constraints. An educated population is statistically less inclined to violent crimes. Similarly, we need to strengthen our healthcare system to provide accessible and affordable healthcare services to all citizens. Economic empowerment programs are vital in lifting people out of poverty and deterring youth from joining criminal enterprises. We must support small and medium-sized enterprises, providing them access to credit and business development service, market opportunities. My administration has provided about 10 billion naira to support the state MSMEs. Entrepreneurship training and mentorship program can help aspiring entrepreneurs turn their ideal into a viable business. Additionally, we must focus on improving the livelihood of women and youth, who are often most vulnerable to poverty, and all this can reduce their inclination to crime and improve security. We must also engage the federal government and international organizations, the development partners, to secure the support and the funding for our initiatives. By presenting a united front, we can attract more significant investment and drive sustainable development across our region. To facilitate regional cooperation, we must establish, and we have established a Northwest Governors Forum that meets regularly to discuss our everyday challenges and coordinate our efforts. These forums serve as a platform for sharing ideas, monitoring progress, and holding each other accountable. We will also consider establishing joint task force to tackle specific issues such as banditry and food security, ensuring that our responses are well coordinated and effective. In conclusion, the path for peace and security and prosperity for the Northwest lies in our hands. We must act with urgency, determination, and unity of purpose. Let us build a region where every citizen can live in peace, agriculture thrives, and socio-economic justice prevails. Poverty is a thing of a past if we do that. Together we can transform the Northwest into a beacon for hope and progress for the nation. Thank you all for coming, and may Almighty Allah bless our country, Nigeria, our region, and our state. And we also thank Almighty Allah, and we hope that you will go back to your various destinations after 2 days event successfully. May Almighty Allah guide us into these deliberations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much to His Excellency. Something wrong with this mic. Thank you very much to His Excellency for that. Essentially, that was a roadmap to how the Northwest can actually achieve peace. I was also really pleased to hear him say that they have transcended politics and are pursuing a bipartisan, united approach to tackling insecurity. This is a very welcome development. Thank you so much for those remarks. Just a bit of a housekeeping announcement before I call His Excellency for his speech. Once he finishes talking, we're going to be able to take only 2 pictures. One picture with the excellencies that are sitting on the stage with him, and the second picture with His Excellency, the former president, and some of our excellencies that are in the front seat, after which he has to go to the airport. So please bear with us. There will be other opportunities, I'm sure, because he's always available to participate in these things. Okay. And and if everybody else could stay seated, His Excellency, the Governor of Katsina, will be the one to escort him to the airport. Everybody else should please stay behind so that we continue with the conference. Without wasting any more time, please allow me to invite the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Kasim Shettima, GCON, who is here representing His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Kindly sit down, please. Your Excellency, our leader, the former President, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, I was quite apprehensive because our flight was delayed. And he left the army, but the army discipline did not leave him. So I was afraid that he will be here by 10 o'clock and be waiting for us. Our apologies. It was nature. It was a rainstorm that stopped us from coming earlier. Our host and chairman, Northwest Governors Forum, His Excellency the Governor of Katsina State, Malam Diko Umar Radda, Your Excellencies, the Governors of Zamfara and Jigawa States, and the Deputy Governors of Kebbi, Sokoto, Kaduna, and Katsina States. And of course, the representative of the Governor of Kano State. I want to use Senator Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar as my point of reference to recognize and appreciate all members of the National Assembly present here. I want to use the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Baduru Abubakar, to appreciate and recognize all my colleagues in the Federal Executive Council present here. Our two elder statesmen, Barrister Ibrahim Shehu Shema and Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari, members of the Diplomatic Corps. I want to use my very good friend, Mohammed Malik Pal, Assistant Secretary General and the head of the UN systems in Nigeria, to recognize and appreciate members of the Diplomatic Corps present here. And he who pays the piper dictates the tune. My sister, we should also take pictures with members of the Diplomatic Corps present here. I want to use the Inspector General of Police, the DGNIA, and the Comptroller General of the Civil Defense to recognize and appreciate all members of the security and paramilitary forces present here. Our father, who is a permanent picture in all developmental issues in this country, His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto. I want to use him as my point of reference to recognize and appreciate all our royal fathers present here. And to the Deputy Governor of Sokoto, I have a simple message for you. Yes, the Sultan is the Sultan of Sokoto, but he is much more than that. He represents an idea. He's an institution that all of us in this country need to jealously guard, protect, promote, preserve, and project for the good of our nation. Elder statesmen, former ministers, senior government officials, captains of industry, members of the Fourth SL of the Rim, sons and daughters of the Northwest, honored guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. There is a profound reason the north of Nigeria is often perceived as one unified people. This perception extends past your brothers and sisters across the Niger and reaches far outside the shores of the nation. This unity is deeply rooted in a culture and born of shared interests and common pursuits. Today, our presence here is a communal gathering to address the afflictions that have threatened the stability and unity of this great house. I am honored to join you in reflecting on our path to extinguishing the fires we were elected to put out. Beyond the economic rationale that drove the amalgamation of the northern and southern parts of Nigeria, the formation of our great nation was inspired by the need for mutual protection. But I ask, how can we achieve this sacred objective if one part is afflicted? We have long established that whatever else any part of this federation destabilizes the other. So the issue of national security in the Northwest is not a sectional agenda. We promise to make Nigeria safer, and this aim has been our topmost priority since we came to office over a year ago. We realize that achieving the peace we seek necessitates addressing the historical injustices that have torn communities apart. We must also reverse the institutional priorities governing security and the economic dysfunctions that create vulnerabilities to crime. We must also counter the ideological mischief that has pervaded the discourse of peace and security in the region. Your Excellencies, your royal fathers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the solution we seek is a region where every trait is safe, where every group is at peace, and where the policing and military presence of the state is optimal. This disintegration from cycles of clashes between primaries and herders has ruptured the ideas of oneness upon which the North revolved. This was followed by a regime of cattle rustling that set herders on a path of violence. Over the past decades, we have seen how these land use disputes drove the farmer-herder conflicts as climate change diminished our arable land and water resources, as the capacity of our security forces was overwhelmed, as unauthorized arms proliferated conflict zones, as corruption undermined our quest for solutions, and as criminal and insurgent elements exploited the complexity of our crisis to cross into our borders. What we are witnessing across the North is an explosion of these damaged relationships, and we have come to say, enough is enough. Our first decision was to task our brothers from the Northwest and the Northeast with the defense and security of this region. Who else can better understand the complexity of the crisis of the region than the people themselves? This has been a turning point, and I am proud to share that the strategies we have employed have begun to provide redemption. We are not slowing down until we achieve our aim. Our military forces, through various operations such as Operation Hiding Cave and Operation Safe Haven, have made true promise their promise to the nation by targeting insurgent groups like Boko Haram and bandits who have held us to ransom for too long. Through enhanced border security and intelligence capabilities, we have disrupted and dismantled criminal networks. Each of you here is aware of the high-profile figureheads of these groups neutralized by our forces, and I am here to share with you that this is just the beginning. Our meetings over the past few months have shown our readiness for a paradigm shift in achieving peace in northern Nigeria. We have established the need for combining military interventions with police reform, local policing enhancement, peace-building programs, dialogue promotion, and educational campaigns to address the underlying causes of conflict. We have also identified a roadmap that includes integrating military, political, and socio-economic strategies, enhancing cross-border cooperation, investing in youth empowerment and education, strengthening local institutions, promoting inclusive dialogue, prioritizing prevention and resilience building measures, and engaging regional neighbors for support. To build pragmatic solutions to our security compromises, we are strengthening collaborations among the services and other security agencies to ensure a unified approach. We are adhering to guidelines such as standard operating procedures and rules of engagement, and coordinating joint training exercises, interagency cooperation, communication, and information sharing. This ethical sensitivity to the operations of our forces and unity amongst us have made a difference. They have led to the surrendering of combatants as we continue to eliminate and capture those who have undermined the sovereignty of this great nation. The kinetic and non-kinetic interventions we have pursued are designed to build the perimeter for our security infrastructure to the point that every child goes to school and returns home safely. Every person who sets out on a trip arrives at their destination securely. Every trader who goes to the market conducts their transactions without fear, and every farmer plants seeds and harvests their produce in secure environments. We cannot achieve this unless we come together. One of the non-kinetic interventions we have rolled out is the Fulaku Resettlement Initiative. We believe It is a timely solution to address some of the root causes of disputes and insecurity in the Northwest. Our choice of Sokoto, Kebbi, Katsina, Zamfara, and Kaduna states, and by including Benue and Niger State for inclusivity for the pilot phase, is strategically planned to create positive nationwide transformations. The comprehensive plan includes building residences, roads, schools, and essential facilities, fulfilling our pledge to the nation. This effort symbolizes our commitment to sustainable development and a unified, peaceful, and prosperous Nigeria, transforming our diversity into strength. The President had approved, and we have secured 51 billion naira in our custody. We'll start rolling out the programs in the next couple of weeks. And what affects one affects all of us. The Borno State government has equally donated 5 center pivot irrigation equipment and 100 units of Kayan educational aids to assist us in addressing the root causes of our challenges in the Northwest. It's sad, it's disheartening that people that are hitherto one are getting divided. Su waye ne Hausawan? Ai lalacecen Fulani da bari-bari su ne Hausawan ai. Aka waye gari. Yanzu wai Hausa da Fulani suna fada. It's so sad. It's so disheartening. We have to unite as a family to address our common causes. Kaga su babana su ne ai Hausawan. Su babanmu su ne ai Hausawan. Hab ɗin shi babarbare, hab ɗin shi Fulani, shi kuma Bahaushe ne. Today, I believe we are going to continue comparing our ideas and thoughts to not only review our strategies and improve upon them, to make the states in the Northwest stable and peaceful parts of the nation, but to assure ourselves that we cannot achieve the triumph we desire without any part of the nation being secure. The glories of this nation are critical to the stability of the nation, and each of us here has a role to play, beginning with acknowledging that our destiny is tied together. I want to thank Mr. Malik Pal for identifying the fact that the trajectory of global growth is facing Africa. And as attested to by my sister, Mrs. Elsie Atapua, wherever Nigeria goes, that's where Africa goes. If Nigeria fails, Africa has failed. 1 out of every 4 black men, at the risk of sounding repetitive, is a Nigerian. And by 2050, one will surpass the United States and be the 3rd most populous nation on earth. 1 out of every 3 black men is a Nigerian. And by the end of the century, when all of us here have become tenants in the home of the earthworms, Nigeria will be the most populous nation on earth, and 1 out of every 2 black men will be a Nigerian. We have to make this country work. We have to unite as a people, and I wish to call on all of us, irrespective of differences in political affiliations, religious persuasions, tribal or sectional backgrounds. What binds us together supersedes whatever that divides us. I have seen my very good friend, Chukwumerije, over there. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Another round of applause, please, for His Excellency. Okay, pictures. Let's start with people on the stage first. We do 3 pictures, please. 3. Okay. Okay, can I have the excellencies to please sit back on their seat, and let's get the former governors to come on stage, ministers, and we will do the diplomatic call last. Yes, please. Thank you, sir. My sister, I only see you. Brilliant. If there are senators here, can they please quickly come on the stage? Any senators, members of the House of Reps, ministers, ex-ministers? Have you on stage, please? Okay. Pictures, quickly, time is of the essence. Thank you. Can I ask members of the diplomatic corps to please join us on stage? And we will do a fourth one with traditional rulers, and that will be the last one. Can the traditional rulers please get ready while we're dealing with the diplomatic corps so that we'll be fast? Can our royal fathers please make their way close to the stage so that once this is done, they can also take their picture? I called them, they didn't come. I called them. Our royal fathers, can you please make your way to the stage so we take your picture? Thank you. His Excellency really has to go, so we have to move really quickly.
Thank you. I'm the brightest person in the room.
You are what? The
brightest person.
Thank you very much, Royal Fathers. As His Excellency exits, we're going to take a short 15 minutes break for prayers. We reconvene here in exactly 15 minutes. Please do not be late. 15 minutes for prayers. There's a mosque in here, so that shouldn't take too long. Thank you. What happened to my glass case?